It's radical, guys. I just don't know what to say.
Why don't you give me your love? Give me your love.
Avengers Endgame is the 22nd MCU movie to date, and it is the 4th Avengers movie, a sequel right after Infinity War, and this movie is once again directed by the Russo brothers. The movie takes place after the events of Infinity War, where Thanos finally wipes out half of the universe. Now with the Avengers remaining, it's up to them to once again redo the snap that Thanos did by working together. That's already a simple plot over there, because we all know after Thanos snapped his fingers, we don't know what else to expect after Infinity War. And the moment that Endgame has arrived, we already know what the Avengers are doing. Now, to be honest, I was able to get my tickets early. I was able to go to the theater again and watch this with my old friend. And yet I was able to buy some Avengers merchandise back in the US trip, if you know me. And watching Endgame was surprising for me. There is a lot in common about the Avengers movies. Now, when it comes to the word Avenger, everyone is already excited. Everyone nowadays enjoy Marvel movies. So whenever there's a new Marvel movie, they're always excited. But when it comes to Avengers, they're already super hyped. Anything but the Avengers, they're already hyped. Any Marvel movie is good. Captain Marvel would do great. Ant-Man and the Wasp would be great. Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther. They would all be excited for those Marvel movies. But when it comes to just Avengers, they're all excited. Back when the Avengers first came out, I was very happy. I was as a child enjoying how the Avengers, how all your favorite characters, all the favorite heroes from the Marvel Cinematic Universe team up together to fight against one villain. And now after 11 years of the MCU, finally we have come to the end, to Endgame, where finally Avengers must once again reunite, and now they must fight against Thanos once again. They're not doing the same thing all over again, just like Infinity War, but this time they're more of the opposite. When you watch Infinity War, this is more of, of Thanos trying to take over the world, and when he finally wins, this was the time where the Avengers finally lose. But when it comes to Endgame, it's finally when it comes to second chances. So I know there's that time when Avengers Infinity War was going to split into two parts, part 1 coming last year and part 2 coming this year, and this was finally it. Part 1 and part 2 actually still happened. And what I have to say about Endgame, it was way surprising, way different than Infinity War. Now, this movie was 3 hours long, and I have no problem with this movie being 3 hours. My only issue is how am I going to go to the bathroom, which is everyone's issue. My only issue is making sure that I don't fall asleep during the film, because my mom does it all the time, and making sure that I pick the perfect schedule on what time to watch this movie. Because when the movie tickets came out, everyone was very hyped, and they were ready for a 3-hour film. And nonetheless, they even had schedules at 5 in the morning, and I couldn't imagine what's it like to watch a movie very, very early. And of course, I couldn't made there on time, because I may have lived very far from them. I live in the southern part of my country, and I find for the closest mall to my friend, and we decided to go there. I also made a rule to myself: if you don't want to get pee, just eat your food. If you buy the food, if you drink, eat them like 50% for the movie, like during the half of the movie. Now, what can I say about the movie? Of course, Endgame is completely different, and I'm trying my best not to spoil the film. I even got some good stuff over there. But what I can say is that this movie was glorious. When it comes to the beginning, it was all fine. We already know what to expect. So for 3 hours, this movie knows what they're doing. I say when the movie is long, there's no problem with me being this long, as long as it's had enough time to at least tell a story, which of course it sure has enough time to tell the story. So they couldn't just say, hey, let's go find Thanos and then kill him. So they have another way of trying to kill Thanos, which is actually what they did great with this movie. And I also like how Thanos made his appearance. Thanos, he's already there, and then suddenly we just kill him immediately. Like, of course, it's not going to work that well. So that they made another way for Thanos to make his appearance, which that's what I'm going to say about it. Thanos made a great appearance, unlike the one he did in Infinity War, and I could not say how he did it. But for me, the second act was also great. I mean, the second act had enough time. There was a time when they were preparing for the second act, it took them like less than 2 minutes to figure out what they're doing, and then suddenly getting them together. So it feels like it's not really that long, but with the moment you see the second act, it feels a little bit longer, but you want to like stay more to the second act and how they're able to divide parts at the same time, just like what they did in Infinity War, and how they're able to rearrange them on what they're doing, and what they're doing is great. The humor is still there, everything is still there. What they did in the second act was overall okay, it's still enjoyable, but when it comes to the third act, it's just glorious, it's epic. And this was my first time being happy when I watched the third act of the film. I was like, holy heck, that really happened, and I could not say nothing but just epic in the third act of the film. However, I did like the humor of the film. All the Avengers getting together was great. The characters are also great. We all know that the remaining Avengers who survive are actually from the first Avengers film. So my theory is that the reason why they survive is because it's a flashback to the first Avengers film. Ant-Man surviving because Ant-Man was a great film I was able to enjoy, and he might have played an important role. Rocket Raccoon and Nebula returning because they might have an important role, and they do have Reckless X. And Captain Marvel just making her appearance after 11 years of the MCU, that's just, well, she's finally there. Nonetheless, everyone was able to have a great time in the film, and everyone was able to get their part. There were some moments where everyone feels like it's downfalling, but you were able to feel something touching with them. Just an advice, I suggest that you bring your tissues in case you want them. I mean, you don't have to bring your tissues unless you sneeze a lot, like you're feeling sick, so just bring them along, or else feel, I don't know, you know what's gonna happen. Now, I'm not gonna say what the ending is, but watching the movie feels like watching Logan because it's the end of the MCU. It feels like it's already the end. It's already the end of Phase 3, but we know that Far From Home is coming. So that means we know what's happening in Phase 4, and we know what will happen to the fate of the Avengers. To me, the Avengers was a ride. Watching this movie for 3 hours was a ride. I was able to enjoy this film, and to me, I think Endgame was so far better than any other Avengers movie. I mean, I do like the Avengers movie. Age of Ultron was overall fine. Infinity War was great, but Endgame was just glorious. Endgame was for people who think that Infinity War is fine, because when you see all the Marvel characters together, that was finally great. That was actually the best part of the MCU. But seeing that amplified a lot was more of a happy time. It's happiness amplified over there, having all your favorite MCU movies being able to be together in one film. I'm gonna say this, but Avengers Endgame is a beautiful, epic, glorious moment in the Avengers franchise in the MCU. I say it's glory and epic AF. That's what I can say in, it's beautiful. That's what my friend told me, and we were able to have a fun time in the film. Now, just a disclaimer, I don't know if there's any after credits in the film, because according to some articles, it says that there's no after credits. So maybe I might go it for a second time, and I didn't watch it in IMAX, but I'm gonna go for a second time in IMAX. So I'd say it's gonna be a glorious and epic experience in IMAX. Now, of course, yes, IMAX 3D is somewhat gone, but if they were able to have IMAX 3D or maybe a 3D screening, I'm able to go there. I'd be happy to go for a 3D screening. But yeah, that was my review on Avengers Endgame. Have you seen it? What you think of the movie? Let me know in the comment below. I can't say anything else about Avengers Endgame, but I just want to open some of those sets over there so bad. So effing bad. You know, like after you watch Avengers, you're gonna feel something with these characters. Like the MCU is already a part of your heart. So that's what I can say about the MCU, and so is this movie. So yeah, that was my review on Avengers Endgame. Got not much to say, but you gotta go watch it, man. And here's the outro. That is all for this video. If you do enjoy this video, give it a like. That would be very helpful. And in the description, you'll find the link so you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. I appreciate you guys for watching this, and I'll see you another time. Bye-bye.